Yeah.
Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Holding Court with the Empress West Hollywood. My name's Enoch Miller, your Empress of WeHo, and we're so excited to have you with us today. We want to give a special thank you to our amazing producers, GayLifeLA.com, as well as Kings Road Apartment Homes for the beautiful space you see here today. And an extra special thank you to my beautiful guest, Johnny Reinhart!
Hi everybody! Yay!
We're here to mourn the loss of our dearly departed sister. No, I'm kidding. We're actually here to have Johnny because Johnny's been on before and was on as Anita Procedure. And we have come to our attention that as of the last couple months, Anita has been slowly dying a slow Facebook Live cruel death.
No, so morbid.
Just looking away. I love it. I want to make this as morbid as possible.
No, seriously.
But she's, I mean, no, it's amazing. So and we're going to get right into the heart of it, but just so people are aware, you are taking the name in essence and nothing else, just the name only, and retiring the name Anita Procedure.
Yeah, so yeah, it's been a little confusing because some people thought maybe I was like changing my drag, but yeah, it's really just the name. It's basically like I just felt like I didn't need an alter ego and I wanted to just be myself all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of easier, like it becomes really weird juggling like two identities, really, because I'm going to introduce myself one way to some people and a different way. So I just felt like it was a way to pull everything together and like kind of make my life a little more simple.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, and we're gonna give you just a little bit of background because you yourself are originally from up north, out San Romano area, El Dorado Hills.
Yes.
And Anita was born kind of right around your 18s kind of ish.
Yeah. And the name actually came up when I was like 14 or 15. Okay. But I didn't start really working in drag or like getting out there and entertaining in public until I was like 18.
Because one of your first performances was actually when you just did theater and you were doing drag for that, and that kind of helped lead you into it and actually doing stuff. Yeah. And kind of you've been kind of doing this whole name here in LA now for a few years. Yeah. And being this persona, and for a drag queen and someone who is a drag performer, a name is a big part of your identity as well, and not just the look, not just everything that goes along with it. What was the decision going in leading up to the transition to being not just the persona and it being fully just Johnny 100% all the time?
Well, the lead up to it, I've been thinking about it probably for like 6 months or maybe more. I was just feeling like I had grown a lot since I started using that name, and I picked that name before I really knew who my character was, or like who I was as an artist, or what I wanted to do. Right. So I just kind of looked back on like almost now 6 years of doing drag, and I was like, does this name still fit me? Does it still represent me? Does it still like make sense for me? And I just kind of finally was like a now or never thing. Like it was like, all right, if you change it, it's going to be weird. It's going to be like this weird transition thing. But now, using my name, that's never going to change. I can use that for the rest of my life. Because I'm trying to think about also, like, career long-term wise. Because I'm hoping to, entertain for my entire life. So. Well,
and you're also trying to again, embrace the duality of being both in drag and out of drag and having people select you for whichever. Yeah. And because you're not, you do so much, not just in drag, but you do a lot of it out of it as well, too. And I can understand wanting to make sure that the consistency is there, and it is, like you said, it's hard keeping on track. Like, okay, I'm this to this person, I'm not this to and it's a little bit of a back and forth, and can be a little confusing. For a brand purpose, what has this kind of experience been like for you on especially brand identity for someone that's had kind of created this, especially here in the Los Angeles area for the last few years? What has it been like, kind of getting people and wrapping their heads around it? Because I know you said it's been a little kind of growing pains with it.
It's a little weird because now living in LA for like 3 years, I've worked really hard to get the Anita Procedure name out there. I mean, it's been on club posters, on club flyers. People like it. People like it too. Like I have people that are always like, I love your drag name.
They giggle. I have people giggle every time they hear it. They're like, I need a procedure.
It's like so simple. It's literally like drag 101. Like it's the most simple pun, but people always liked it. Yeah. So yeah, that's the kind of like negative, is that you sort of are undoing all that work that you've done to like get it out there. Right. But luckily with social media now, most of the people that know me are connected to me on social media. Right. And therefore, if I change it on there, it's sort of like, okay.
You've changed it already.
It's pretty easy. Yeah. And if I were to do something more high profile, it's like now it's Johnny Reinhart. Yeah.
And you've also already coupled everything from the get-go as Johnny Reinhart, parentheses, Anita Procedure. So you kind of kept that kind of same both duality together in the sense of having both personas in the kind of the same realm of everything you do. You put a little bit of Johnny and the Anita stuff and kind of vice versa. So it's already kind of been sprinkled through. Yeah. For you going forward, do you feel like you will change anything with your drag or change anything with how you kind of present yourself now that you're not necessarily putting on a full character and just really remaining more just, again, aesthetically yourself? Or what do you think going forward?
That's a great question. Because part of it also was that. It was like, I wanted to use that to allow me a little bit more creative freedom.
Okay.
So I think now, even in drag, I still love to do, a head-to-toe hair, boob contour, boobs, padding, corset, all that full sort of female fantasy. But what I realized is, like, I don't consider myself a female impersonator. Like, in no way am I trying to be like, I'm a woman. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a man who does drag. So the name, I think, is going to allow me a little more androgyny, where there will be many times where I come out in that full sort of quote-unquote female illusion, but I can also, like, not wear pads. I could not wear, a wig if I wanted to. I could not wear whatever. And, that's like a goal for myself, because I think a lot of drag queens feel like they get put into a box, or they have to like perform a certain way, dress a certain way, do things a certain way, and I'm just trying to like carve my own path.
Yeah, it's true. And one person that comes to mind, and it's someone I know you've worked with before, but Billy Francesca, very similar thing, in and out of drag, exact same person. Yeah. There is no confusion of like, oh, I didn't recognize you without makeup on or anything like that. I mean, he just kind of personifies that whole kind of almost boy drag in a sense. I know another person as well who does a lot of the same, Jason Wimberly, very much the same thing, where he'll do that whole androgyny thing of like, he'll put on an amazing dress, wear heels, have like makeup and everything done, but you still know it's a man doing kind of an impersonation of a woman, or it's like kind of more of like a boy in drag kind of stuff. Yeah. So you don't lose that identity of knowing that it's still the same person, and it's not like this full-on character. Yeah. And your drag character and persona is very, very closely related to you and how you are in your personality in and out of drag. So.
And that's the thing, too. I think for a long time, I was always self-conscious about my voice, because I don't always sing in a woman's key. I'll just sing like at my speaking voice. Exactly, my speaking voice obviously is like a baritone voice. So, and I used to kind of catch flack for that. Like, people would be like, oh, if you're going to sing live, you need to sound like a woman. And it's like, well, I'm a man. Like, no one's like... I'm not going out there trying to fool the audience into like thinking I'm a woman, so I'm gonna sing up here. Yeah. So it's just kind of embracing it. It's like, I'm Johnny, you know, whatever key I'm singing in.
But I feel like, honestly, too, for me personally, it was never confusing, because why would you sing in anything other than your own voice?
Exactly.
Because, I mean, otherwise it's gonna sound weird, it's gonna sound forced, it's gonna sound not natural, and when you're singing, you're supposed to sing in your natural key. Yeah. And so it makes sense that you would want something that, again, will put no stipulations and no pressure on how you performed as an artist, first and foremost. Yeah. The drag was just something that was coupled along with that. Yeah. Really after, because, I mean, you've been a musical artist since the very beginning, way before you even decided to do the drag. So I can see needing that kind of, again, not having that extra pressure on you and what you're trying to do as a performer first and foremost before adding the drag to it. Yeah. Has this changed any kind of work-related stuff with either event producers or anything like that? Has that kind of changed any relationships going forward with that? Or have you noticed they've been pretty kind of accepting of the whole thing and not really phased in the least?
I was a little worried about that, but my fears were kind of like unfounded, because everybody I talked to was really cool about it, and they were just like, oh, sure, and so they would update, my name on the flyer or whatever. Everyone was really understanding, which was really nice. I was a little afraid that people would be like, no, I'm booking a drag queen, and I want like a drag queen, and that was my concern too, because sometimes I'll do like private gigs where it is very that. It's like a corporate gig, and they want a drag queen to come in, and Anita Procedure is definitely like the kind of name that gets the party going. People think it's funny, and they're like, that drag queen.
It sets the tone for it. I understand that,
So that was like kind of my concern, but so far I haven't had any issues.
Really? That's amazing. And you've been doing a lot more private stuff lately, too. Private stuff, ladies and gentlemen. She charges extra. Yes. But really, like, you've been doing a lot more performance-related stuff, and like I just saw you do when you did room service over at Sofitel. You did a slaying Jessica Rabbit out. That was gorgeous.
Thank you.
And I feel like you've been able to kind of do more of your singing chops more, and then the drag's just kind of coupled with that on there.
Yeah.
Over the last year, what do you think has been kind of the biggest transition for you as an artist and as a performer, kind of from when you first got in LA 3 years ago to now, where it's been a little bit more of like professional, very high-end professional kind of gigs that you've been getting?
Yeah, the big change for me was like becoming selective about the gigs that I wanted to do.
Okay.
I think when I was first here, it was like anything.
Well, right.
You're just
Make that
you're
money.
just desperate to make that money, get your name out there. So I would like work the doors, places. I would do whatever $50 gig wherever.
Right.
Because it was just about getting your name out there.
Right.
And I think I felt like I had to keep doing that, and I finally like got to a point of being like, okay, now you can actually choose like what artistically really inspires you.
Right.
What do you love to do? Which clubs treat you the best?
Right.
Which has the best group of people?
Right. The people you want to work with that are the other performers as well, and stuff like that. So
because what's so great about this job is like I get so much control over what I want to do. So it's like, and I believe that whatever environments you are have an influence on you.
Oh, totally.
So you want to make sure you're you're choosing the places where you're going to grow as an artist.
First and foremost, it's your business. That's the thing, and it's what you do right now is a business, and you have to be very careful and protect that, especially in a city like this where, people will take you for granted if they can, and they'll just walk all over you if you let them.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to do that. On the music side and stuff with that, have you been able to do more now, again, taking a step back from the drag and doing everything with that, have you been able to do more of just music and music-related either events or gigs and being able to just do you yourself singing or performing?
I've done a few, like, over the years of living here. I've done some things out of drag, but not too many. I'd like to do more. I've done a couple, like, readings, like, workshops of musicals, which has been really fun. I was in this now has been a while ago. This is like 2.5 years ago, but I was in this musical workshop called Hit the Wall. It's a musical about the Stonewall riots, and it's really amazing and really, really good. So that was cool. And I liked that because that was still kind of in the LGBTQ umbrella. I also did a reading of this show called The Molly House, which literally was another period piece about gay clubs. It's about a hidden, like, gay bar in Victorian London.
Oh, wow.
So that was really cool. And I think I would like to do, I would really like, even when I'm out of drag, to be involved in things that are, like, queer.
Okay. That's what I was actually wanting to see, because, you have done a lot of stuff activistically in the last couple of years as well, and getting involved in community-related stuff for the LGBT community. Is there anything specifically you want to get involved with going forward in the next following year, or 2019, since it's practically the new year still?
Yeah.
Is there any kind of organization you've been looking toward? I know a lot of your fellow queens do different stuff like that. Someone I've seen do a lot, like Pickle does the stuff with reading to kids and stuff like that. Is there anything along those lines that you've seen that you like to help promote LGBT individuals, but also show, again, how we connect to our community?
I would like to do more of that. I definitely could stand to do a lot more of that. I think even just in the time that I've been here, I've been so focused on my stuff that now actually is a good time for me to be like, okay, how can I give back a little bit more? But I have a friend that does a musical theater concert called For Good, and it's like every month, and all the proceeds go to like a charity, and so she invites singers to sing. So I've sung in drag in that, I've sung out of drag in that. I've worked with the LGBT Center, I have good friends there. Yeah. So, I would like to get out more. I also feel like the show I do, A Queer Cabaret at Tramp Stamp Grannies, it's a cool way of, I like bringing queer stuff to sometimes more straight audiences.
Yes,
I think that's like a cool way on like a small scale to, I don't know, increase like awareness and just like get people feeling comfortable and maybe getting people seeing things that they've never seen before.
Yeah. And I really, and this kind of leads us into our next topic, because I really want to bring this up, because we'll touch upon this a little bit after, but with the whole, I definitely want to talk about the cabaret show you do. Yeah. But for kind of what you're seeing now, not necessarily like nightlife specifically, but a lot of the venues you're at and the events you do, especially because of Drag Race and the notoriety and popularity that has gotten, do you feel and see that there is a bigger acceptance and kind of universal just appreciation for the straight allied community toward like drag queens and drag performers? Yeah,
majorly. Okay. I think there's way more interest in drag right now, and especially for straight people as well. And I've found there's so many corporations that are like not even really LGBT, you know, but they want to have a drag queen, you know, at their event or whatever. So it's really booming right now, and like RuPaul talks about this a lot, where he says, you know, we thought disco would last forever, like you know, we thought it'd be around forever, and I think people don't realize that there is a roller coaster. So drag is really popular right now, and it's not always going to be.
True, you know? And it never always was in the very beginning, and I feel like it's been rolling up to this peak, and it's been kind of like this has been a long time coming. And I mean, Drag Race has, I feel, been a big proponent of that, and really kind of helped push that along. With just some stuff coming up, I mean, we're on All Stars 4 right now. Yeah. We're at 150 queens, soon to be 160.
Crazy.
What have you kind of just experienced in the last? Because I mean, you've obviously gone out and put on for auditions and stuff with that as well. You kind of checked out the different queers that are coming out through that, and the girls that come out off of it, and actually do stuff here in the LA community, because there's tons of them that come through here. Yeah. What has your kind of been overall experience with kind of seeing that impact of Drag Race on the local drag scene and the local drag scene out here in LA?
It's huge. I mean, the thing that's really cool about LA is like so many of the Drag Race queens are based here. Right. So it's really, I feel like everyone is pretty, like we all kind of look at each other as colleagues, you know? And like I think I haven't really dealt with Drag Race queens ever being really like bitchy or really like, I'm better than you. I haven't experienced that. I mean, some people maybe have, but I think there's a real nice camaraderie for everybody. I mean, the Drag Race queens are always going to bring out like much bigger crowds. Right. But most of them, like I did this show, I forget when, December maybe, Alaska hosted a Star is Born themed show at Precinct. Oh, okay. And she brought me in, and I really felt like Allie in a Star is Born. I wore this shirt. This is my Allie shirt. But it was nice because she is like such a mega star right now, really. And so she had me come and we sang Shallow together, and this sort of was like, it was nice. And she booked a lot of the local queens, and it didn't just feel like, even her as a Drag Race queen, she has a lot of love and appreciation.
Well, and I mean, she's one of those ones that was top 3 in her season, and then as well won All Stars as well.
So she's got a lot of like power, and so it's nice that she shares that spotlight.
Right, and it's also, I mean, it's great too on also on the flip side with her brother too. I mean, Corey as well is very involved in our community. Like they do a funny show on World Wonder. Yeah. And so it's like them as a team, as an amazing powerhouse of again promoting, supporting, and doing everything with that as well. Mm-hmm. For what you kind of been noticing with again with it being, oh my god, I can't believe it, 11 seasons. I mean, it's like 11 seasons. So it's basically been almost 12 years, because I feel like have they done every All-Star on every? I don't think they have. Maybe 1 year wasn't, but anyway, it's basically 11 years of Drag Race and all that stuff, and having where you went from like again, I was talking last week with Sherry right about this. You went from back in the 80s to you had maybe 4 or 5 maybe good touring queens that would actually go around, to now having almost hundreds. Yeah. What is that like, kind of for you guys on the local scene? Do you feel like we're such a big city, maybe there's not a ton of competition, but do you feel like there's a lot of competition for gigs and events, or do you feel like, again, like you said before, it's kind of a very equal opportunity for everyone around here?
I mean, it's definitely, people are always going to want to book somebody that has more of a following. True, and that's a trend. That's a trend across all entertainment things. You know, you'll see like models getting cast in movies because they have, you know, hundreds of thousands of Instagram followers. Right. So that's definitely a thing. Right. You know, when it comes to trying to book like a TV gig or like a private gig or like a really high-paying corporate gig, a lot of times they will go after the Drag Race girls. Right. But I also feel like if you're like, what I do is pretty unique, and like I work really hard, so I don't feel like I don't ever really feel like my gigs are getting like taken away by Drag Race girls. But Drag Race girls are definitely more in demand.
Which makes sense. And again, I mean, and I think you make a fair point to the aspect of they want asses and seats. They want people that are going to come. So obviously a bar is going to, whoever's going to fill in more people that are going to buy drinks. Yeah. So it makes sense with that. You've been doing this for the last year now, almost a year, since April. The Queer Cabaret. Yeah. And you've been doing that with both musicians, Jack and Benny Lipson. Yeah. What was that like, starting that? Because that's, first of all, it's an amazing show. Thank you. It's almost basically a life kind of story in a sense of you as a performer and kind of you in that. What was that like, kind of meeting them, and kind of how did the whole queer cabaret get started?
Yeah, well, so I met Jack and Benny Lipson. They're twin musicians. They're super fucking talented. They're playing.
Adorable.
I know, and they're so cute. They played a show for an old friend of mine, and I just thought they were really, really talented. So we talked after the show. We connected, and then Queer Cabaret happened because I knew Mia. So Darren Criss, who owns Tramp Stamp Grannies, he and his fiance Mia. I met them through other friends, and we ended up having like a really fun time. We were all in Palm Springs together, and she was like, I'm opening a bar, blah blah blah, and eventually was like, you know, if you want to do a show. So they opened their bar, and she was basically just like, whatever you want to do. We had like one meeting, you know, we sat down, she and I, and she kind of was like, what do you want to do? Whatever you want to do. And this was after years of doing a lot of club gigs, doing a lot of things where I was having to do what other people wanted me to do.
Right.
And this was like the first big thing in LA that was like mine.
Right.
Like I was like in complete creative control, which is great, but also scary.
Well, yeah. You live and die by this now.
Yeah, and it's like, so it's really grown and become its own thing, and Jack and Benny are so great because like they just help me create really cool things. And I'll just come to them and with a song. Sometimes I don't even have sheet music. All I have is like chords, or I have like lyrics or whatever, and I'm like, help me, and they like do it. So it's really cool. I feel like really creatively free,
which is great. And really, did you come to the table when they were initially like, whatever you want to do? Did you already have stuff prepared, or did you take a lot of like just kind of mismatch and be like, okay, this is kind of what I want to do, this is kind of what I do, and then you kind of formed a show based on that?
Yeah, it was like a little of this and that. I knew that I always wanted to do like a classic cabaret, you know, live music, smoky bar.
Ooh, I like that.
You know, that vibe. And because I love like vintage style, so I think of like, you know, 30s, 40s, 50s, even 20s, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, that kind of smoky bar vibe.
Yeah.
And it's very like casual, you know, there's no stage. It feels kind of impromptu. It feels because I want it to bring people together. Like I want everyone to be. We kind of create like a community, I think. In the bar, that's kind of the idea. And yeah.
And so with this too, I mean, not soon after you guys started this in April, by almost August, you guys were already in New York doing stuff with this, and took this over to the East Coast. What was that kind of reception like for them seeing you perform? And I really love the title it had. Anita Procedure, adult entertainer. I really
adult performer.
I really love that. How
you.
did that kind of transition work for again from going from West Side to East Side?
Yeah, so that was a solo show that I did, Anita Procedure, adult performer, and I did a preview at Tramp Stamp Grannies, and then I brought it to the East Coast, and that was just friends of mine that knew someone at the Laurie Beachman Theater in New York. They booked drag cabaret acts, so he booked me, and that was really exciting. And then it turned out, like, while we were there, because Jack and Benny came as well, we were like, well, we can do a queer cabaret as well.
Oh.
And Darren knows Alan Cumming, who owns Club Cumming, and so he kind of put in a good word, and we got to do it there. And that's kind of a similar vibe, where it's got that smoky kind of 20s bar. It's Club Cumming is very, very cool. So yeah, we got to do the show there with like some New York people.
Oh, I love it.
That was fun. It was fun to be kind of like, oh, it's bi-coastal now. And then even the boys have gone and done it a second time in New York. I didn't go, but I had some other queens sub in for me.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's
and what do you hope for? It's been spread
around.
It's been spread across the country.
Yeah, just one injection, it'll clear it right up, honey.
Just that penicillin and the realness. But where do you hope to see potentially this show? Either do you hope it stays just kind of local? Do you hope it kind of becomes this kind of touring kind of aspect to it? Where do you potentially see the Queer Cabaret going here in the next few years?
Well, I think I like the idea of it kind of staying small because I think that that's the vibe. I don't think it wouldn't really make sense like on a huge stage, you know, in a huge theater. I would like to do something like that eventually, but that's probably not this show. But my goal now is to kind of do more themes. Like I did some shows last year. I did a show called Evening of the Witch around Halloween, which was like my favorite thing ever because I was researching it for months. I was just like studying witches, watching witch documentaries, curating music, curating songs that I liked, and getting all these like kick-ass women to sing. And that was really fun. Like when I get a theme like that, it really like lets my mind go wild. And so this next cabaret, 18th, is on President's Day. And so we're doing a show called Not My President's Day.
Which I love.
And yeah, I just kind of today started like working on stuff, curating. I mean, I've been thinking about things, but I like the idea of there being themes because I just think it's it's fun, and I think you can get like a message across.
Right.
Obviously, with a theme like "Not My President's Day," we have a lot to say.
Well, you have like material for days.
Exactly.
But really, I really love the concept of what this does, and again, it gives a nod back to classic entertainment and entertainment that's again lasted the test of time.
Yeah.
And cabaret, and even like cabaret and something a little off style of what cabaret is, even burlesque even. Mm-hmm. I mean, the two of them have really been making a resurgence back in the LA area. I mean, you see lots of burlesque shows going on downtown. I mean, cabaret in North Hollywood area. I mean, obviously the stuff that you've been doing. And so you're seeing this kind of nod back to these old styles of performances. And then also the fact that you also are a live performer, and it's not a lip syncing, which again has set you apart as a performer for the longest time, and especially in the drag community. How do you see that kind of continuing forward and becoming more of a focal point in your career going forward with everything with that?
Well, it's interesting because I think what I love about doing cabaret type things is it's live. You have to be there and experience it. And like with Tramp Step, even it's really dark, so even your video isn't really going to turn out. You know, it's like you have to be there and experience it. And I think that obviously in a world where we're all so obsessed with social media, we're not connecting all the time, and I think sometimes that can happen in the drag world as well. Like sometimes you're not really connecting with your audience, I think. So that's what I like about it, is it's just like it's forcing people to connect. And I try to say at the shows, I'm like, talk to people, make friends, right? Because everybody in here is all. Because so often we go to gay clubs and you don't even end up socializing, right?
Oh no, you're just there with your friends, you're talking that, and you don't do anything else.
And I'm like, isn't the point, aren't we all looking for connection? Like, isn't the point of coming to a live event so that you can experience something that you can't see on your screen?
Right, exactly. And that's what it is. I mean, quite frankly, especially with the performance aspect of it all, you have to be involved with that. You can't just be like reading through your screen, trying to watch it through it. You're gonna miss something on this side, you're gonna miss something on that side. There's this whole everything going on, and especially, I mean, there's just no way you should be really that involved in your phone. I'm surprised you haven't taken away their phones. Quite frankly,
and it's funny because I've seen queens talk about that. I've seen the angry rants of queens being like, "If I'm performing, how dare you? Pull your phone out." And it's like, I completely disagree, because it's like it's just part of our culture now.
Oh yeah,
it's different. That's the difference between going to a bar show and going to a show at a theater.
Right.
If you're in a Broadway theater, that is you sit your ass down, you put your fucking phone away, and you live. But if you're at a bar and you're drunk and you're watching a drag queen lip sync, bitch, yes, film. Yeah. I mean, you better have $1 in the other hand, bitch. But I love it. I love people filming. That's part of the experience.
And that's honestly, I mean, you like. There's a few people out there that I really respect that say that. I mean, you are one of them. Diana's another one for Diana Jackanoff. She at her shows at room service, she's like, film, because you never know when this bitch is gonna be famous. Yeah. And she's gonna need that content up there. Yes, girl. But I mean, that's the thing. You are very much like that. You're like, if you're seen at either karaoke or whatever you're doing for that, you're like, hey, you took a video, send it to me. Like, I want to have something just so I can put
And it's
there.
free advertisement.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like they're tagging you. And again, that's what's great about Queer Cap, is even if people are taking videos, it's not the same as experiencing it.
Right, exactly.
You can't get the experience of the show by just watching clips on Instagram. It's like you have to come feel the energy in the room.
It's the teaser that once you want to come in and check it out for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. Well, we're gonna have a fun little game. I want to test Johnny's knowledge of drag.
Oh God, I'm nervous.
Herstory.
I'm nervous.
It's nothing too bad.
I
didn't. If you don't know, you'll have punishment later.
I know. They're like, wow, you're not a real drag queen. Okay.
You're not a real drag queen. No, you're totally a real drag queen. All right, so it's just gonna be 10 questions, and so the first one is Julian Etlinge, and it's Eltinge. Was an icon of which theatrical movement? Was it burlesque, vaudeville, comedy dell'arte, or Renaissance?
Say the name again.
Julian Eltinge. Eltinge.
Oh God, I don't know. My guess would be Commedia dell'arte.
Okay, and it is not. It is vaudeville.
Okay, see, I should know that.
That's kind of a weird, obscure one though, too, a little bit. Okay, so next question: what B-movie legend, who has been labeled as the worst director of all time, starred in drag in his own film, Glenn or Glenda? Ed Wood, Stanley Kubrick, John Waters, or Alfred Hitchcock? Hitchcock.
B movie makes me think John Waters. That was my first guess, but I don't know. I'm not familiar with that. What's the movie again?
Glenn or Glenda.
And who else? Stanley Kubrick and
Ed Wood.
Ed Wood. Oh God, B movie. Starred and directed. I mean, I guess I'll say John Waters.
Okay, John Waters. It is not. It is Ed Wood. And actually, I totally missed that one on that one. Who is known for having thrown the first brick during the Stonewall riots?
Marsha P. Johnson.
That's the.
And I don't know. There's some.
That was it. No, that was definitely.
No, I know that's correct, but people aren't quite sure if that's exactly true, but she was definitely there.
She was definitely there.
She was definitely there kicking some ass, honey.
She was there kicking ass, taking aim, and yelling her head off. That's for sure. And I know this is an easy one because most people know this one. Which legendary drag performer inspired the face of Ursula in Disney's Little Mermaid?
Divine, yeah, that's a good one.
That's a face only a fish could love.
Yeah.
Oh, Divine. Okay. Joey Arias is known for channeling the vocal talents of what famous jazz singer?
Billie Holiday, one of my favorites too.
That's an easy. I knew that was that's an easy one.
Yeah, he's very inspired by me. He's another one that uses his boy name.
Yeah, exactly. What city did RuPaul get his start in as a performer? Detroit, Atlanta, Manhattan, Newton, Iowa.
Detroit, Michigan, honey.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Well, I know he's from Detroit. That's because that's how the song goes. Once upon there was a little black girl from the Brewster Project.
It was actually funny. That's how him and Bunny met. Was Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
And it was the first time Bunny did drag. Was RuPaul put her in drag?
I saw she said that on an episode of Drag Race.
Yeah, I was really impressed by that.
Yeah, how funny.
What New York drag festival began in the 1980s and was hosted by Lady Bunny?
Wigstock.
Yeah.
And they just had a reunion show.
Yeah, they did a reunion show.
Really amazing. Yeah.
Which this is stupid. Okay.
No, ask me anyway. I got some wrong, so I want to get some right.
Which 1990s documentary captured the life of the ball culture in New York City?
Burning, yeah. We all know that one.
We saw the FX documentary.
Yes, honey.
Okay, I'm going to show you a picture.
Okay.
Which club would you likely find these people partying in the 1980s to 1990s?
Oh, it's the Club Kids. It's like Michael Alec, and that's Candace
So Hamburger Mary's, Stonewall Inn, Max's Kansas City, or Limelight?
I want to say Limelight. Yeah, because Stonewall's more of a bar.
Yep, Limelight.
Yeah,
Correct.
Okay.
Alright, we just have
I know some things.
One more.
Okay, oh God.
Which San Francisco-based icon hosted a movie series known as Midnight Mass from 1998 to 2009? Was it Sister Roma, Heclina, Peaches Christ, or Holy McGrail?
Oh, I know all of those queens, but I can't think of who this is. I think it's my instinct was either Heclina or Peaches. Since 1998?
Yeah, 1998 to 2009.
Hosted Midnight
Mass. It was a movie series.
Oh, well, it's Mass. So is it Sister Roma? Who got me my name back on Facebook, back in that...
Final answer is?
Shit. Sister Roma? See? She's the oldest one, I think.
Oh, it was Peaches Christ.
I knew it could have been any of those.
So not too bad. You got 6 out of 10.
Oh, it's pretty bad.
No, it's not. I got 5, so don't even. Okay. And then we're going to do one more little game because I thought this was fucking hilarious.
Okay.
And also I'm a giant-ass nerd. This thing will cooperate with me. We're going to play Pokemon or Drag Queen.
Bitch. I'm probably gonna nail this.
No, this one's pretty good.
Yeah.
Because we're only gonna do a few of these because they have like 30, and I'm not reading all these.
No, yeah, give me the hard ones.
Okay. So I'm gonna spell this one because it's pertinent to how we say this. All right, so it's Jinx, Jinkx.
Oh, I know the KX is Jinx Monsoon Drag Queen.
Yeah,
I know.
RuPaul Drag Queen. Okay, Jigglypuff.
I mean, of course, it's a Pokemon. Classic.
Acacia.
I actually don't know. I don't know that they could get away with calling a Pokemon Acacia, so I'm gonna say Drag Queen.
Drag Queen.
Okay.
Flabibi.
Oh God, you actually really dug up some good ones here. Flabibi?
Yeah, it's spelled Flabebe.
Pokemon?
Double check on this.
I truly don't know.
I pressed it and then it did not let me do it.
Flame BB. Where are you? That's not it. That's the Pokemon.
It's a Pokemon, yeah.
Yeah?
It's a Pokemon, yeah.
I was right. Okay, that's not my generation. That's not my OG 150.
No, it's not. I was like,
no, that's
when
good.
I'm like, I got confused for a second. Like, no, that's a Pokemon. Blossom.
Blossom is a sickening Pokemon, but she could pound the runway as well.
Phoenix.
Drag queen.
Damn it.
Phoenix. We sleep on her from season 3 or something.
Yeah.
4.
Frillish.
Frillish. I'm thinking Pokemon.
Yeah, it's
thinking Pokemon.
Pokemon. Greninja.
Ooh.
And it's Greninja.
Oh, I know, that's a Pokemon.
Damn it, I should have spelled
But that does kind of sound like a fabulous Southern queen.
It does, right?
Absolutely.
It sounds like something you drink.
Yeah, oh yeah. It's like grenadine.
Villainux. And it's VANILLUXE. Villainux.
Ooh. That's one where it could really go either way. I'm gonna guess drag queen.
I'm gonna guess this with you. Whoop. Don't let me do it. There we go. Button. Push.
Or was it Pokemon? It's probably a Pokemon, but I like the
It's a Pokemon.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dude, I want to see that bitch. Who is she?
And then Rufflet.
Pokemon?
Yeah, Pokemon.
Okay. Yay!
That's it.
Oh my goodness. There's a lot of overlap there.
Some of them are really easy.
It's like a big Venn diagram.
Yeah.
There's a lot of in between.
I love how they put some of them they put next to each other to be confusing, like Tangela and Shangela.
Oh, that's funny. That's good.
Tempest and
I have
Onyx.
a friend named Rosalia, and I think there's a
there is a Pokemon named Rosalia.
Yeah, and I think she actually took it from that. Shout out to Rosalia. Hi, baby.
There was like Dita, which I'm like, if I didn't think like Dita Ritz,
Oh,
or like
Dita
something.
Ritz.
Yeah, I would know.
Dita.
Yeah,
It could be a Pokemon.
Dita.
That's funny.
Well, thank you so much for being on with us today. We're so excited to have you. And again, congratulations on your amazing success. And we'll make sure everyone knows it is no longer Anita Procedure, ladies and gentlemen. Johnny Reinhart, which we're so excited for.
Yeah, Jonnie.
Yeah.
The IE makes it feminine.
No, those legs do. But we're so excited for you and your amazing journey with this. And it is, it's a big step, and we're hoping everyone's going to be right along there with you because the struggle is real, ladies and gentlemen. So support your performers, your local queer artists, and everyone that really makes you smile.
Yes, amen.
Which is this, and that hair, girl. That hair is
toss. You can touch it if you come to my show.
No, you can't.
Well, ask first.
Pay first.
Yes.
Well, we want to thank you again to GayLifeLA.com for the amazing work they do here with us, as well as Kings Road Apartment Homes for the amazing space you see here today. So tune in next week, and we'll check you guys later. Bye.